So today's topic is application of stacks. Application of stacks, generally page visited history in a web browser, is a well known application of stack. Why is same as the behavior of stack, since stack is the structure of LIFO structure, that is last in first out. So in case of our web browser means your Google Chrome, Mozilla, like this. The if you just recently closed your websites, then if you go to your history tab of your web browser, the first link must be there, very recently closed website. So if so last in first out, that is the last work done by your browser is in the top of your history. So it is the similar structure of stack, so it is an application also of stack. Undo sequence also a renowned application of stack, that is the in text editor like Microsoft Word you already use, I think. And saving local variables when one function call another. You very recently will be familiar with functions. Okay, so function can call another function. Then when a function is executing, the control it has some control, and if this function calls another function, then the control also given to the another function, that is the callee function. Now if the work done, then again the callee function transfer this control sequence again to the caller function. So this kind of control transfer mechanism also similar with the last in first out structure, that is our stack structure. And finally, the evaluation of postfix expression. Postfix expression is our new term, and many things to say about this expression, and as well as the conversion of an infix notation to postfix notation. So don't worry, in the next slide we are just explaining about the infix, postfix, everything. So in these last two application will be discussed broadly in your class. Now for okay, let's take a look this slide first. Postfix expression. What is postfix expression? So postfix notation is another way of writing arithmetic expression. Okay, in postfix notation the operator is written after two operands like this. It is an infix notation. You are familiar obviously with this notation. Till now you are familiar with this notation. This is known as infix notation. Here 2 is an operand, 5 is another operand, and obviously this plus is a binary operator. That means it need two operand. Binary means 2, bi means 2, that's why it binary plus, so it has to be plus of 2 operand, so 2 plus 5. But if this expression can be written in postfix notation, then it looks like this, that is 2, then 5, then plus. Here operator resides after the operand, that's why the name is post. This operator is postfix, and here operator is infix, in between two operand, that's why infix. Here post of the two operand, that's why postfix. Clear? Now expressions are evaluated from left to right. This is the left position. and left to right the operand is executed or evaluated, and precedence rules or parentheses are never needed. Actually this line is a very important line, and it tells about why postfix is there, why not infix, why we need postfix again. So precedence rules and as well as parentheses are never needed. Now again take a look in the previous slide, that is why postfix notation. Actually when high level programming language involved, then there is computer scientist faced a technical hurdle during generation of equivalent machine language instruction, for which for this kind of complex assignment. This is a complex assignment that it may be if you don't put any parenthesis or something, it might have several meanings, or even if were uniquely defined. So parenthesis means the brackets, you know, the brackets. So uh, it still seemed a formidable task to generate a correct and reasonable instruction sequence. So from this kind of problem, we have to think some other thing. We have to think some other thing, and here is the history of the generation of postfix notation. Uh, it is well known that if a postfix there is a postfix notation, then it need not any parenthesis, and it is very easily can be executed by our computers. That's why postfix is so much important for us. Now let's take an example of postfix expression. Here is some evaluation, how a postfix expression will be evaluated. Okay. So 4 is an operand, 5 again is an operand, then plus. If this is so, obviously two operand are besides and then they are operator, that's why it is obviously a postfix expression. Now during the evaluation part, it is done like this. Above arrow is our pointer, that is in which position now the pointer resides. Left to right scanning is done. In this slide we already told that expressions are evaluated from left to right, so we are going left to right. Now first left, if there is an operand, we just shift again. Here in this case now pointer is here, and this is also again an operand. So nothing to do, again shift please. Then here this picture now pointer is pointing some plus. This is a plus or a binary operator. Now I am getting a binary operator, so I have to do something here. What to do? If I get some operator, then we take a look back, the back two elements. Okay, so it is a binary operator, we need to look two elements. If there is something unary operator, then we have to look one element. Since it is binary, we have to look two elements. So other two elements what are 5 and 4. So this plus will be executed on these two operand, and finally these three element 4, 5 and plus now generates the value of 9. 4 and 5 and a plus, that's why 9. Now after these three steps, now we are here, and 9 7, 2, that is these all portions are now converted into 9, and then as well as the written previously 7, 2 minus, okay, this star not showing, but a star also is there. Now after that, in this picture pointer is also shifted and now it's pointing on 7, and again 7 is an operand. If the pointer gets an operand, it's nothing to do, it's just going to shift, again shift. Now again 2, 2 again an operand and nothing to do its work, and again there is a shift. And now this pointer uh, gets a operator, that is minus and binary minus. So again it needs 2 operand, so it retrieve these 2 operand 7 and 2 and follow up the minus on it. After the operation done, this value will be 5. So this 7, 2 minus these 3 elements will be taken into like 5. So 9 previous element, these 3 elements results in 5, and finally the star. Now the operator pointer is pointing on star, again again an operator. So it again binary operator and it needs 2 operand again. So these 2 operands are there, and finally these 3 things results in 45. Okay. In case of postfix expression, there is no space of confusion at all for the execution. Okay. So here is the evaluation algorithm. In this picture I just explain, or I just dry run about your algorithm, and finally it is the written version of your algorithm, how to write this algorithm. Let us take a look. Here I named it like eval, and eval only takes the argument as e as the argument. Now evaluate the postfix expression e. We are going to evaluate this expression e. It is assumed that the last character in e is an infinity. Fine. A procedure, we have to consider this kind of thing because it is an abstraction when we are telling about this picture. Here just pictorial representation we can say, but in real life when we are implementing this kind of thing in computer, then many consideration must be there, and for the implementation purpose, that how a computer recognize the our expression is end here. In this slide this star is the last symbol, but computer cannot see how it will how the computer can understand that here is the end our expression. That's why a very long, very long number like infinity is there, suppose. So if the algorithm gets an infinity, then the algorithm thinks yes, this is the end of our expression. So it is assumed that the last character in e for expression is an infinity. A procedure is the next token. A procedure next token is used to extract from E the next token. So next token is something some kind of function which extracts the next token from this expression E. A token is either a operand, either an operand or an operator or infinity, maybe a one dimensional array stack 1 to n, that is the first position is considered as 1 and the last position is considered as n, is used as a stack. And many of the algorithm or many of the books maybe start with 0, or then it will be like n minus 1. Since I have started it with 1, so my endpoint is n. Now what to do? Top since it is a stack, there must be a top, and top will be initialized with 0. That is now in the beginning of the expression, in the beginning of the algorithm, we are taking an empty stack, and this top, that's why value contain 0. Now loop means you already familiar with while loop in some previous algorithm. So again it is a loop. It means that some work to be done again and again, again and again, like this. And in this loop we are every time extracting the next token from it. Suppose in this expression we are taking 4, so first time this x contain the 4. Okay, so in case 3 cases may be possible. One, x may be infinity. If we are at the end of the expression, so then we will get an infinity, since we put an infinity of the expression at the end of the expression. Then if we are reached at infinity, then the answer is at the top of the stack. That is, we are nothing to do, and we are going to end here. But if this is not infinity, then what another options are there, like x is an operand. So x may be an operand. When I started this algorithm, so here 4 and 5, so 4 5 operand, during the starting point obviously we will get an operand. Here x is an operand, then call add x stack in top. This add function is called for the stack. There is a stack, and in the stack we are going to put the item, like here x, and the stack size is n, and top is with 0 now. So from this point of line we are going slightly for the next slide. Take a look here. Here is some pictorial representation of the algorithm. If the pointer or next token extracts an operand, 4 is an operand, then what to do? It should put in a stack. That is, it is our empty, it was the empty stack, and now 4 is in the stack. Okay, then again go to our algorithm. Else this x is not an operand, not an infinity, then what to do? Okay, again here, again we are going to find an operand. Since 5 again an operand, we are taking back or it in the stack, push in the stack. Now next operand, next token, actually next token is plus. It is not an operand, so something to do. What is that something? Remove the correct number of operands. So after getting a operator, we can know that how many operand is needed. So correct number of operands for the operator x from stack. So now we have to remove the stack elements, that is, we need some pop operation. Okay, then go this slide. and here the show that 4, 5 and 4 will be popped here, and this operation will be performed, and again the results, these 4, 5 plus is equal with 9, these results again pushed back to the stack here. So perform, first of all remove the correct number of operands from the operator for the operator x from stack, then perform the operation and store the result. Okay, if any results are there, then store it onto the stack. Okay, end, this end denotes the cases end. These three combination or three cases may be possible. So here is our end of the all cases. Then again this forever denotes the loops end. Since it is forever now, so I will go here again, and next token again will be retrieved, and again these all three condition will be checked until this infinity is reached, and due to doing again and again these three operations, we will reach at a time this stack top value, and this pointer will be reached at the infinity, then the stack top value return, what return answer is at the top of the stack. So this there is only element, obviously top will be there, so stack top element this 45 is our result. So this algorithm is an easy algorithm, try to understand carefully, and again dry run with original with some examples, and this was about your evaluation procedure of a postfix expression. Postfix expression evaluation and the conversion is very simpler and as well as elegant way, as well as very elegant way for performing this arithmetic expression. Okay. Now this slide contains a very important thing for the next important algorithm. Priorities of operators for producing postfix. Now we are going to reproduce a postfix expression from a infix expression. Okay, so to do this we need a symbol table or a priority table. So this is a priority table, here is some symbols. What symbols a expression can have? It may have parenthesis, this is a close parenthesis. Actually if a close parenthesis occur in an expression, then during the conversion procedure we can show that we don't anytime need to these parentheses look after. So that's why it's no priority is needed actually, that's why dashes are given. It instack priority and income priority both are unnecessary. So what do you mean by instack priority? That is whenever any operator is in the stack, it have some priority, and again incoming priority whenever some operator is just in the expression. Okay, is in the expression, still not it in the stack, then it is called incoming priority. In even in the algorithm we will show it is as ISP, that means in stack priority, and ICP, that means incoming priority. So these two star denote actually the power, like square or cube, this denotes the power to the power. So if there is a power operation, its in stack priority will be 3 and incoming priority will be 4. Again star and division, that is multiplication and division, both contain the same value. Its incoming priority also 2 and in stack priority also 2, and binary plus minus, these also these have also the same priority in both cases, it is 1. There is a huge difference in priority in case of parenthesis, that is the open parenthesis. Close parenthesis, not the close, open parenthesis. Open parenthesis in stack priority is 0. If a open parenthesis is in the stack, then its priority set to 0, and if the income it is in the incoming priority is very much high, that is 4. So it will be a required table for our next algorithm. So here is the start of our algorithm. Okay, let me take this example first. Here is an important example. I am going to explain input expression. Okay, this is our E or input expression. Here it is a infix expression. You are seeing that a plus parenthesis b star, so it is an infix expression, and our challenge is to convert it in some postfix expression. So this last expression right here in it is a postfix expression. Now what happens in between steps? In case of this, if we get an operand again, if the pointer or next token is an operand, then nothing to do, just print it. RPN, it denotes some printing operation, so print it A. Now there is an plus. Okay, so if there is an operator, here is the operator is plus, then what to do? This operator must be pushed in stack in if some condition is true. What is the condition? Let's take a look in our algorithm. Okay, now it is the starting point of algorithm. Our algorithm named as postfix, and it taking the E as our argument, or the expression is our argument here. So convert the infix expression E to postfix, and assume the last character of E is again a infinity, which will also be the last character of the postfix expression. Okay. Now procedure, next token returns either the next operator or next operand or delimiter, whichever comes next. Now stack is 1 to n, that is our size, it denotes the size of the stack, and the character minus infinity, that is equal with -1 is used at the bottom of the stack, that's why, and it will be explained in the algorithm. And ISP and ICP are the function, two function. This function returns the priority values from the table, previously set table, ISP and ICP. Now initially the stack will be initialized with some very negative value, that is the minus infinity, and top is now 1, first position, that is the 1. So loop is start here, and into x we are taking the next token from the expression. Now what are the possibilities? Here are some possibilities. Case 1, case 2, case 3 and else. So there are 4 cases or 4 possibilities are there. First of all, it may be infinity, that is we are reached at the end of our expression. Then what to do? We will see it later. Or maybe x is an operand. It is nothing to do, just print x. And in this picture we are seeing that this a is an operand, we just print it. And the third case, maybe it is an close parenthesis. Okay, if some close parentheses are there, okay, close parenthesis, when we get some close parenthesis, then I will explain these lines. They in the meantime we are going to this else position. Suppose here now plus, that is an operator is done, and this is not equal with this infinity, this is not equal with any operand, not in not equal with this close parenthesis. So if we are getting a plus sign or a operator symbol, then we must have to execute these lines. What are the function of these lines? In this case, we will check ISP and ICP. ISP means in stack priority. The stack top value contain the ISP. Initially, it have the -1 and or minus, sorry, it initially it will have minus infinity, and the ICP of x. ICP of x means if plus, then ICP of x is ICP plus and minus ICP is 1. So this is if this is greater than or equal to from the ISP, from the ICP, then print the stack top, and the top will be top value or top element will be removed, that's why top -1. But if not, then call add x stack in top, that is insert x in the stack. Now in case of this example, our plus, obviously its ICP is not less than the ISP at that moment. So we are going to add it. So plus will be at the will be add in the stack, and top value is will be increased. Now again in this pictorial representation, the token is arrived in a open parenthesis. Fine. In case of open parenthesis, we have to take a look here. Its in stack priority, that is ISP, is 0, and now at that moment plus is our plus is our ISP, and its sorry, this open parenthesis ICP is 4, and this is the 1. So 1 is less than 4. 1 is, if 1 is less than 4, then it will be false, and this line will be again executed, that is add x stack in top. That's why these open parentheses again will be inserted in this step. Fine. Again we are going to see that the next token is B. It is an operand. If we get an operand, then A B is printed here, and the next again an operator star. Now its in stack priority is, in stack priority of parenthesis is 0, so it is less than the star. If it is less than, then again a push of stack will be performed, so star is again pushed. And if this AB, okay, pushed and okay, then next token will be again these parentheses, and again this open parenthesis has the highest priority, so it will be again pushed in the stack. Finally C again will be print in the screen. Now we are at minus, okay, and minus is an in this picture, in stack priority of parenthesis is 0, and the minus in stack incoming priority is 1. So again this condition is false, and this minus again will be inserted. This minus again will be inserted. This picture is not showing the minus, but this minus is in this picture here. And finally again we are going to get a D operand, and it will be printed on the screen. And finally another option we get, that is the close parenthesis. Now let's take a look in these options. Till now we are getting some operand, that is this case, and uh, else, that is this adding operation is performing. Now we have a close parenthesis. What to do if we get a close parenthesis? Then nothing special, we just a big popping will be there, that is until the stack top is not equal with the open parenthesis, you just do the pop operation, print stack top, pop, and print it in the screen, and minus the top again. Okay, let's see in this example. Since we are getting a close parenthesis, that's why this minus is popped from the stack and printed here, and then we are getting a close open parenthesis. If we get an open parenthesis, then stop here, don't print it, but minus a top. That's why this line, since while we are not getting a open parenthesis, we are doing popping, but after the popping operation again an extra top minus or extra pop, not print, only pop is done here. Since no parenthesis is allowed in our postfix expression, or no parenthesis need in this postfix expression, if we get a open parenthesis, just ignore it. So here we are ignoring it. In this 11th step, now our stack contains star, another open parenthesis, and a plus, and the remaining expression is this, that is the slash e and a closing parenthesis, and till now this is printed on the screen. Now again we are going to get an operand. This operand, obviously the open parenthesis have the value in stack priority is 0, so it is greater than, so it is will be pushed in the stack, and then we are going to get okay, I skip a step, that is star will be removed, star is removed already, and then the slash or division is pushed here. Now last operand e, so e again is here, and this closing parenthesis is our last element here. Whenever we are getting some closing parenthesis, then we just popped. So here the division operator is popped, so, and we are reached at the opening parenthesis. So no, only pop but not print on the screen. Now top pointing at the plus, and finally since we are reached at the end of the expression, which in case of implementation it is will be symbolized with this infinity symbol. So if we get the infinity, we are just nothing to do, just popped totally the stack. So now you do empty stack. So plus will be popped and print on the screen. Here if we get an infinity while top greater than 1, do the empty stack operation. Here top maybe there are more than one operator or something, then all everything in the stack must be popped. So it is a very important, and as well as many combination or many possibilities are there. So you have to consider all these options, and obviously your home task is to verify or to run for the examples. That is, you took an example and try this algorithm on this example, that is you are going to understand or not. Now finally at the last topic we have reached, that is recursion. A recursive function is a function that calls itself until the base condition is true and the execution stops. So main recursion has main two properties, base condition and a progressive approach. What is base condition? There must be at least one base criteria or base condition such that when this condition is met, the function stops calling itself recursively. And progressive approach, the recursive calls should progress in such a way that each time a recursive call made, it comes closer to the base criteria. Now stack and recursion. It is very similar, that is many programming languages implement recursion by means of stack. There is no other way actually. So generally whenever a function, that is the caller function, calls another function, that is the callee function, or itself as a callee, the caller function transfers the execution control to the callee. So to these control transfer cases we obviously need the stack. This transfer process may also involve some data to be passed from the caller to the callee. It is a pictorial representation of recursion. Suppose it is a recursive function, then recursive function with a value n is calling itself, and again just a reduced value, again it is calling itself, and this calling is done until the least or base condition is arrived. And this calling sequence or control sequence transfer, uh, we must need a stack to record the or to recites the activation records. So stack is very necessary for the recursion kind of things. Okay, there is some small comparison actually. So it is an algorithm in the it is written in the way of non-recursive for the factorial. You all know about factorial. So if I say about the factorial 5, it means 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5, that is 120. So if we write an algorithm of factorial, what to be done, if n less or equal to 1, the result is always 1, and we can return here nothing to be done, and not if not, that is the else criteria. In else we are going to do something. What is, suppose results in an is an variable which contains the n, and I is an variable which contains the n minus 1. So while I greater than 1, we can do the operations, and in this operation we are going to do what, results into I. So first of all, results contains n, and I means n in n minus n. So if n is with equal with 5 and I is equal with then n minus 1, that is 4. So 5 and 5 into 4, that is 20 will be resides in results, and I then reduced by 1. Then again here is our loop, and 20 will be again multiplied with the I value, that is now 3. So 20 into 3, that is our 60. This is the way of a non-recursive algorithm or non-recursive way, that is the looping concept of the algorithm, and this algorithm perform the operation of factorial. Now take a look of this algorithm. This is a recursive way. Okay, so recursive way, what is the different from the previous algorithm? Here is a itself calling mechanism. In this line, factorial n minus 1. So this factorial n minus 1, this line is calling itself. Factorial, every time factorial calls with n into factorial n minus 1. So these lines are shorts obviously from the previous one, but some implementation hurdle are there. So some very basic differences are listed here. The difference is in the number of lines for both function to perform the same operation. It is can be easily seen that it requires much more code. Coding lines are greater than the recursive algorithm. Now recursion takes much less code. Obviously recursion takes much less code, but is harder to write and even more overall system resources, that is requires sufficient stack memory to operate appropriately than iterations do. So iterations are easier to code. Whenever we are thinking about the implementation side, because every time we have to keep the activation record in case of recursion, so any recursive algorithm needs a huge memory, that is the stack memory. But in case of looping, we need not any any stack memory. So it is the basic difference between the recursion and non-recursion. Okay.